Hello everyone, my name is Daniel Estrada. I am, I guess what you would call a musician. What I'm going to show you guys today is just some basic R&B guitar licks and R&B, I guess, chord variations. We'll start with just something common, a common progression, I guess. Normally, I guess we'll play these chords like this. So those are just normal, your regular bar chords. Alright. Now, if you want to R&B this up, as I like to call it, we'll go ahead. R&B guitar is really simple. It's really, instead of using the full chord, you take pieces off, really. Like you take, instead of having this full chord here, you'll take your pinky off. So instead of this chord being like this, you're gonna take your pinky off and it's gonna sound like this. See, so it has more of a feely kind of sound. Likewise up here, when you go to this chord, or this one right here, you take your pinky off again. So you hear the difference between these two and these two. Okay, and likewise on the last chord, you're gonna take your pinky off, so it's gonna sound like this. All right, so let's go ahead and get into a little bit of, groovature. Show you what we can do with it. Let's put this little beat on. So I'm gonna show you what I did. All right. Basically, I took, like I said, I had taken those chords, I made them. But in addition to that, I did little R&B fills. Or you've probably heard this one a lot from, originated, I think, in Those Jeans. In those jeans. I did one of these, When I established my rhythm, I played around with it. So basically, in R&B, you're not confined to, those three chords. You can mix those three chords up. If you notice, instead of going, I mixed them up and I went back sometimes, like to the first chord. For example, I went like this, and then I went back, and then back down to here. And basically what this is right here, it's also something really common. It's another simplified chord. It's basically a bar chord, and instead of having your middle finger on the 5th fret, you're gonna take your pinky and you're gonna put it on the 5th fret on the last string, on the first string. I'm sorry. You're gonna take your pinky and put it on the first string. Leave your index finger barred, and you're only gonna play the 5th string onto the 6th. You're not gonna play the bass note. So you're gonna go. And that's something really common. We find it in a lot of songs. So once again, I'm gonna go ahead and play it, but this time we're gonna just play it slower. We're gonna play it without the beat. Just experiment a little bit with what we those three chords. So now that I explained it a little bit more, I'm gonna go ahead and show you some more options we can do to mix this up a little bit. Some more variations you can do with these three chords in particular is you can do a little bit of hammering, and hammering it really adds to chords, really it makes chords just sounds that much better. Hammering is basically, you know, stuff like this. You know, like stuff like that when you just quickly, basically at the very basic, you know, you're quickly hitting a note. You know, you're basically just hitting a note really hard, you know, hammering. That's why they call it hammering, you know. Anyway, there's different kinds of techniques you can use with when you're hammering. You can do like chord hammering, which would be something like, and basically what that is you're going back to the original chord in the middle of the hammer. So that's the original chord. That's not this chord. That's the original chord. I mean, you can go back to this chord, the simplified version as well, but it sounds so much fuller when you hammer the full chord. So for that same progression, I'll go ahead and show you what I can do. Alright, so what I had just did, this that's called a diminished chord. I don't know what kind of diminished chord. You'll see it on the screen. Anyway, that is a diminished chord. I'll go ahead and do it again. Alright, right here. Basically all it is take your pinky, your ring finger, your index, and your middle finger, and you're basically on the last four strings, on the fret that's before, on the fret right here, on the 4th fret, I have my index finger on the 3rd string, and I have my middle finger on the wait, I got confused. Okay, I take that back. Yeah, no, my middle finger is on the 5th string, I believe. Okay, middle finger on the 5th string. My ring finger is going on the 4th string, and my pinky is going on the 6th string. So basically, that produces. Now, when you play diminished chords, you don't want to play the whole. You don't want to play like all 6 strings. You just want to play the chords that you're, the notes that you're touching, rather. So basically, since I'm touching these 4, that's the ones I'm gonna play, and you can move that up. And it's the same chord. It's the same chord. You can use it for the same progression. So if I'm playing this progression, I can still use this chord because it's the same one as down here. It's just a higher, transposition, basically. That's a diminished chord. Those also give a nice R&B feel, a nice sound when you are, you know, playing R&B songs.